I applied for my role at Citi on a Sunday night. Monday, the next day, I got an interview.
Carly Aznavorian, from the Federal Reserve to JP Morgan Chase, and now a vice president in finance transformation at Citibank.
Let's dive into her journey inside the banking giants that shape the world.
Should they put the open to work tag on?
That comes off. It's like,
Desperate.
yes. Wow. They are so smart. Like, I want to be just like them.
JP Morgan is famous for asking questions that throw you off guard.
Questions from when I was fresh out of school were a lot more. And he looked at my GPA and he's like, oh, that's a nice GPA. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Is there any resume tips you want to give to students?
Anytime you want to apply for a job.
And we're rolling. How's your day going?
Great. I am currently in between jobs right now. I just left JP Morgan and I'm going to Citi on Monday. So enjoying that in between time right now.
How did you feel when you just came to Pace right now?
Oh, it was a lot of memories that came back. Yeah. No, I came here almost I came here as a freshman almost 10 years ago. So coming back and like seeing everything like since like even like past the pandemic and older now, wiser now, maybe.
What did you graduate in?
Economics.
Economics?
Yes.
Was that like you really wanted to do or something you stumbled upon?
So I actually came to New York because I wanted to be an actor. But very quickly, I looked around and was like, wow, everyone wants to be an actor.
Yes.
And I really love New York, and I want to find a way to financially afford to stay here. So I first went into the stereotypical arts and entertainment management if you don't get into the acting program. So I went into A&E. And as part of that business major, you had to take economics courses. And Professor Mark Weinstock ended up recruiting me, as he does many students their freshman year.
Probably in the future, do you want to pursue acting?
I don't think so. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun creative outlet. But I mean, it's hard to like fit into like your schedule. I don't know. Maybe like do like some improv classes or something, but not something I want to pursue seriously.
Like, how did you get your first job in Federal Reserve?
Yeah.
Tell me the whole story.
Okay.
From the beginning.
Okay, so we're going back to Pace. So Mark Weinstock referred me to be, well, not referred me, he convinced me to be an econ major. And at the time, I was really nervous about it. I was like, I don't know, like, I always, like, I mean, I came from the middle of nowhere, Virginia, and you don't really see a lot of women that work in finance from like my town that I grew up in, you know? And I always associated like working in finance or economics as like a male dominant field.
Yes.
So I just didn't really trust myself that I would do well at it at that time. But it really it made the difference of having one professor and then the whole department believe in you to do that. So yeah, I became an econ major and I just pretty much like so Mark Weinstock, if anybody knows him, he's very blunt. And I had told him about my dream of wanting to be an actor, and he was like, do you want to be poor when you grow up? And I said, no.
Yeah. And that's true. Like according to the reports, only probably 1% of the actors are able to do a living out of it.
Yeah, it's really about luck and connections. Like I do have some friends that are actors I went to Pace that are successful, but they have a hard time like finding lots of so I give them a lot of credit, but yeah, Mark Weinstock, he was like no, like he's like, do you want to be poor? And I was like, no. So
I like that, like do you want to be poor?
Yeah, and he's like, so listen to like what I tell you to do, like while you're here. He's like, you're going to be an econ major, you're going to do the Fed challenge if you're interested in that. I was like, what is the Fed challenge? And I remember just signing up for one of his classes. It was called Game Theory, which if anybody's ever had his class, it's a lot of fun. It's like you play games like in the class and like he like explains like prisoner's dilemma by like pulling people up and like putting them against each other. And it's a very fun interactive class and a great way to like introduce you into the economics department. And I remember at that time the Fed team at that was ready to go to the competition had come in and they gave their presentation. It's like 15-minute presentation on like current economic events, what's going on, and what they think the recommended monetary policy decision should be. And I just remember sitting in the back of the class looking at them like in awe, like, wow, they are so smart. Like, I want to be just like them. So I wanted to learn how to do that. And so there was a course, Echo 296Z, I think is what it was called. It was like a preparation of intro to Fed team, if you're interested. So you would take the course, then you would audition. So it was kind of like, I guess, a little bit of like the acting, because like it's like remembering a speech, like coming up with a script together about like different economic events. And so I took that course, and the TA at the time terrified me. Like, she was very smart, very like strong and blunt, like just like Weinstock. And I just remember like wanting to impress her, and like, because she just seemed very like difficult to impress, you know? And so like that spring break, I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I'm not coming home to Virginia. I'm gonna study at home for the Fed challenge. And so like my room looked like a crazy person's room, where I had like notes all over my room, like writing like what was going on with like the economy, like the 12 Federal Reserve banks, like all these different like things to memorize, to know everything about like the purposes and functions of the Federal Reserve, what's going on with like the Wall Street Journal, and like I just did all these diagrams and memory palaces, things like that.
It feels like a movie scene, so, like all the.
I'm the main character of my own life. But yeah, it definitely was like a transformative experience, because I was like, I'm going to get onto this team. And I was super nervous, and I came up with like my own presentation, and the following week was auditions. And I auditioned, and I ended up getting on the team.
Okay, audition, okay.
Yeah, well, they call it tryout. I keep calling it audition. I guess I'm in like the mindset of like acting, but it felt like it. But yeah, so I remember like I prepared, like I called my mom beforehand and like ran it through her. She's like, it sounds like you know what you're talking about. I don't know anything about economics, but like, you go, girl. And so I like prepared. I thought I was like ready, and then I go in to give my presentation, and I made my presentation on a Mac computer, but here it's all Windows. So I did not test to see how my PowerPoint would look that I made on an Apple product on Dell. So I remember when I pulled up the presentation, all of the visuals and stuff were messed up because I didn't PDF it. Rookie mistake. But I remember when I went up to present, I was like, that is not supposed to be like that. But anyway, so I just like played it off. And then they ask you questions on your presentation afterwards. And I remember there was this one guy on the team who also intimidated me because he was very smart. And he asked me a question to try to stump me, and he did stump me. And I was like, oh no, like, I don't know if I'm not going to get it now. But then when they called, it was like very exciting, and I got on the team. And then we prepared for a year, basically. I mean, like from the Federal Reserve course all the way up to like challenge, it was like a year. So like every day I was looking at like Econoday's economic calendar. I was reading the Wall Street Journal, and we would like during the summertime we would meet like during the day, and we would meet in like evenings after people's internships, and then on Sundays and Saturdays we would also train. So like we would like Weinstock and Professor Coleman, like they would also, like both of them, and like Professor Baruch occasionally would come, and they would all like drill us on like what's going on with the news right now, like what do you think is going on with the direction of the economy. And it was just like we just had to be like on our feet. So like I ate, slept like in like eat, slept, and breathed the Fed at that time. And it was all we could really like do. We weren't allowed to have a social life. They were like, I don't want you like guys dating anyone. I don't want you guys like going out with like friends or going on vacation. Like you gotta just like focus on this because this is your future. So we're like, okay. So like we really like took it seriously. And so then one of the guys that had auditioned, like not auditioned, that was in like the room with us that had like grilled me, that stumped me on the question. So he had actually like passed away that summer. So that was like really tough for all of us, because we all felt like this pressure to like win for him. Like it was like an unspoken thing, but like we all like wanted to win for him. But you can't put that much pressure on yourself, because what if you don't win? But like at the same time, we're like, we want to win for him. So that also was really like a driving force for us to really like work hard. But yeah, it was just a really transformative time. I learned a lot. It was one of the best experiences I had in college. So we went to the New York Fed for regionals. Well, it was like first round and then regionals are both at the New York Fed, and then DC is where nationals took place at the time. I think now it's shifted the model. I think it's more on like an online video submission. But before then, it was very cool. We got invited to the New York Fed. We got to go into like the old building and like go on. I remember going on the elevator. It was like, wow, this is like this piece of history, and I'm on the elevator right now. And we were in rooms with like a bunch of different teams from different schools, but nobody knew who the schools were, because Weinstock had actually advocated to like not announce schools because it can give like a bias to the judges if they know who they're reviewing. He's like, I just want like the judges to like review based on like talent and like the work that they put forward, their presentation, and the Q&A. And we would always win because of the Q&A, because we would train so hard and like practice every single day. Like, because there were other schools that were like fancier names that like some of them even had like Alan Blinder as like their like former like Fed legend as their coach, but they wouldn't win because like, you know, you can have resources to like pay for
but the work matters.
Presentations, right? They can have like all these consultants to like come in and make the presentations for them, but you can't like at the end of the day once they ask you Q&A, if you can't
it's all
defend
you.
it. So we ended up getting through first round, and then we came back for regionals and we won that, and it was just like very like exciting. So like, oh, here we go, like we're like really maybe gonna win this. And then when we went to DC, like took the train together and we stayed overnight, and like the next day we went in, and we like stood across from like Janet Yellen, who came in, who was like the Fed chair at the time.
I don't know who
it's
it is.
okay. She's also a Fed legend, and she's super adorable. She's like this tall, and like she's so cute. She was like, I always know where to stand in photos, and it was really inspiring to like see her give a speech, because she was just like talking about like how she was so happy to see like women in economics and like students in economics, and like this was like right before like Chair Powell ended up like succeeding her. So it was just very cool to like, well, it wasn't right before, but it was like a year or so before. But it was just cool to like be able to like see that after working so hard. So we were across from like Ellen Mead, who was this famous economist, and the first paper I ever read about economics was written by Ellen Mead. So here I am sitting face to face with her, like giving my presentation and answering questions. So it really was like one of the coolest experiences we could have had.
Like, this is so interesting how a professor could just change the path of your life, right?
Yeah.
And I really love how always your mom supports you, whatever you do. And which was the time that you really fell in love with economics?
Fed team. I mean, like, it was like, honestly, that first class when I took game theory, I mean, game theory and like Fed team are like, it's different things. It's like monetary policy versus like more micro. But really like, what inspired me, I guess, to become an econ major was controversial. I was dating this guy who was an econ major, and he was not very nice. And I had asked him to help me with my econ homework, and he said no, he would never help someone who could like potentially be competition, right?
What?
And he felt that way about everybody in his major. It was a very weird way to be. And I had never really paid much attention in economics. I like immediately dismissed it as boring, because anything that I wasn't good at right away, I immediately was like, oh, this isn't worth my time. But you know, that's not really a great way to be. But that was freshman Carly's way of thinking. But then when I actually like had to study for the final, I was like, okay, I need to like actually pass this class. And I actually was reading the book, and I was like, oh, this is actually really interesting. And then I was like, I want to be better at this person, at his own major. And so I did.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was kind of why it was like towards the end of the year why I wanted to be an econ major. But when I fell in love with it was when I did like game theory and saw like how exciting it was and how it wasn't intimidating. Women could be an economics major and be good at it. Like I got my first A, and I was like, oh, this is like, okay, like maybe I can do this. But Fed team was really like what solidified it, because it was just like eat, sleeping, and breathing economics all day long. And it was just like, it felt like, I love puzzles, and it felt like there's so many like different like scattered pieces that like all come together to make like one big picture. And I just thought that was so fascinating, interesting. So
like did your first job in Federal Reserve meet your expectations?
No. The Fed is a great place to start your career if you don't know what you want to do, because you really get like that like 1,000-foot level view of like the banking system, where like if you were to go to more private sector, usually you'll probably end up in like, I mean, there are rotational programs at other banks, but I feel like it's more of like specialized. You become like a subject matter expert in like more, it's more siloed, focusing on like just like a component within a bank, where like the Fed, you're looking at lots of different banks, lots of different components, like the meat and potatoes of how a bank operates. So it's a very interesting place to start your career, and a great place to end your career because it's very great work-life balance, amazing healthcare. But in terms of in between, not so much because it is a government entity. So like there's a lot of bureaucracy, so it does move very slow. So after about 2.5 years when I was at the Fed, that was when I decided to look.
Yeah, what made you to transition from Fed to JP Morgan?
And I had a guy reach out to me on LinkedIn. Always keep your LinkedIn updated. He was a headhunter that was like at an agency, and he reached out and was like, "Hey, are you interested in working at JP Morgan?" And I was like, "Heck yeah!" But it's well known that like JP Morgan has like a good reputation.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Yeah, that sounds like a great opportunity to go there." And it's similar to the Fed, like where it's like a very like team winning culture oriented kind of place to work. It's very, I mean, at least the space that I went into, it felt very academic, similar to like the Fed. It was, they ran a tight ship. So I was very excited to go to JP. So the role was specifically in liquidity management. And like I mentioned in my rotational program at the Fed, I did cover liquidity risk on another big bank. And that was my favorite rotation out of all of the rotations. So I was like, heck yeah, I want to go back to liquidity. That sounds so cool. And so, yeah, I wanted to go to liquidity management like at JP Morgan, but it was specifically called the stress assumptions team, where basically JP Morgan has tons of different products that they offer to you and me and to big businesses. And there's a team that looks at the different products that JP Morgan offers, and they model how those particular products are expected to behave in a stress period. So like, should we be reserving more liquidity if there were to be a future stress based on past stress experiences? So it felt like the marriage between like my Fed experience, but also my economics degree. So it seemed like a really great fit. So I was very excited for that. So I interviewed a lot. Like I interviewed with probably 6 different teams at the time. It was around like 20 interviews.
Like, was that online or in person?
It was all online.
All online,
Yeah, and
okay.
I think interviews at JP Morgan are still
Online? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my interviews for Citi, my next job, like, was also online.
Like, was there a question that was very surprising to you? Like, I
During
know
my
that JP
interviews?
Morgan, is famous for asking questions that throw you off guard.
So I think it really depends on the space that you're going into. Maybe for like the more like front office facing roles, like
Or if you're just starting out.
right. So like I mean, at least my experience, like interview questions from when I was fresh out of school were a lot more, at like different institutions were a lot more like, throw you off, see how you think kind of questions, like how many golf balls could you fit in Central Park? Those kinds of questions, you know, those questions are thrown out more for like more quantitative roles or roles where they're not sure yet what your skill set is. But when I got to JP Morgan, since I had already had around 2.5 years under my belt, they're like, all right, well, I know you know this information. So like, it's more about like behavioral, like how do you handle yourself in like a team dynamic environment, like what kind of like how do you deal with difficult challenges, like things like that. So most of it at JP was it felt like it was just conversations with people. It was nice.
Like, why do you think there's a myth about JP Morgan that anybody who wants to work in JP Morgan, you have to go to an Ivy League school?
I mean, I think there's like that like stereotype with lots of top companies, but that's not the truth. I mean, I think like going to like an Ivy League school, you definitely get a network. So you're probably more likely to run into someone who knows someone who works there. So I mean, the way I ended up at the Fed was because I had an internal referral from somebody that used to go to Pace, and then JP Morgan. It was not that I had an internal referral. It was that I had a headhunter reaching out for me. And like my husband was a headhunter at an agency recruitment firm. And basically how those recruiters work, the ones that reach out to you on LinkedIn, is they're looking for somebody that's actively working right now, not looking for a job necessarily, because those are the ones that like are skilled and like they want the ones that are less desperate, I guess. Yeah. Because like just because somebody applies, it doesn't mean that they've like sat back and assessed, am I qualified for this role? So like the agency recruiters are more like, okay, I'm looking for this skill set for this particular firm. So let me just do a search on LinkedIn and try to find people with these qualifications at top firms. And so that's how I was found. So I think that might have also been why I didn't have as many like brain teaser kind of questions for my interviews at JP. But I mean, at least even with like my conversations at Citi, it just felt like it was behavioral more so that, because like I think like interviewers want you to win, like they want to see that it's going to work out. Like they just want to see they want to work with you as you get older. I think when you're younger, it's a lot more work for them to see, do I want to invest my time in this person? Because like they don't even know how to write an email right now. Like, you know, like you're a lot more to like work for them when you're new. So maybe like brain teasers and things like that come up more because like they want to see like, are they coachable? Like, do I want to put in the time? But once you have like a few years under your belt, it's more of just, I know you can do this. I just want to see if I want to work with you.
If any students who's watching want to get into JP Morgan or Citibank, how do they should maintain their LinkedIn profile?
So have all of the boxes filled out. I know there's
Like, should they put the open to work tag on?
Not the profile.
No, right?
No.
That's a no,
Right.
yeah.
Because like when my husband was a recruiter, like that comes off as like
Desperate.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't know why LinkedIn offers that because it really doesn't look good.
Good,
you know?
yeah, that green color thing.
Like you can set it up though, like open to work to recruiters. I wouldn't recommend doing it. Like if you have a job right now, I wouldn't recommend saying open to work where everyone can see because like your boss could like.
I see
pop
so
in.
many like posts where people put in like, I'm open to work, I'm looking for a job. I think that's
I think so. I think it depends. Like, I mean, I've seen some roles before where like people have like lost their jobs, and you know, like in those kind of situations, yeah, I would panic too, and like be on there and be like, how can I utilize my network? But I think that would probably be more of like a last resort. Like first, I would probably privately reach out to like my network that I'm close with and say, hey, this is what happened. Like, is there any way you could refer to me to your company? Like, I would like reach out to like recruiters, like at agencies, like to try to get help first before putting myself out there like that. But I mean, I've never been laid off, so I can't really judge. But like anytime I see a post like that, I do always like it and comment for better reach for them. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, like when I have people message me on LinkedIn that I've never spoken with before that are just like immediately asking for referrals to a company, like that's also difficult because it's like, I mean, I want to help you, but like I have no idea who you are. And like, I want, like, you didn't take the time to get to know me. I don't know who you are. I don't know what your work ethic is. And, you know, like my referral for you is like my stamp of approval saying, yes, this person can do the job, but I don't know that. So I think like when people reach out blindly, I think it's like, it's better if you actually try to get to know the people first before you like ask for a referral in your like connection request message. So, I mean, I get it. It's like, I had a lot of imposter syndrome when I was like first like applying for jobs. I was like, oh my God, no one's going to hire me anywhere. Like everybody feels like that. But I mean, it does work out for you. I mean, but honestly, the best advice is just to like build your network while you're in school. Even reach out to alumni, like, and build those connections. Like what I did, Weinstock King, he, I asked him, I was like, hey, do you know anybody that's like a former alumni that like I could talk to that like reminds you, like they're like me, but in the future, you know? And he gave me like all these different like students' numbers. He's like, yeah, reach out. They like love talking to students. And so I got to do like informational interviews with them, learn about what they did, like how they like viewed, like if it was like a safe career or like what would happen in like an economic downturn, like what would they think would happen to their, like did it seem like a secure job? Like it was very interesting because I got to learn about lots of different roles without like that I wouldn't have normally gotten, you know? So I would recommend doing that because then like years later, I mean, I'm still connected with those people and it's like I've actually taken the time to like get to know them. So like, of course they're going to like refer me, and like likewise they've gotten to know me. So of course I would refer them. So really building your network and keeping your LinkedIn updated. So agency recruiters will reach out to you.
Yep. I probably read this funny story where a candidate who wanted to get into JP Morgan in her Bumble bio, put that looking for contacts who work in JP Morgan and actually got a referral. Like, do you have any crazy stories like this? Like any networking stories?
I've never used a dating platform to get a job. No. No, I mean, like, no, I'm very, I guess, old fashioned. I guess anybody I've ever referred, I have worked with them directly. Like I've referred people that like have been on Fed team that like I like worked with them.
You haven't started in Citibank yet, right?
No, I start Monday.
Do you want to start, like, describe your day-to-day, how it was in JP Morgan?
I mean, sure. I mean, the day-to-day was honestly different every day. But, like, when I was on the stress assumptions team, so, like, my normal projects that I would do, we have these, like what I was saying, we have different products JP Morgan offers, and we have methodologies associated with those products and how they're expected to behave in a stress. And so we would have to review that methodology every so often. And the documentation that we would work on them in had to be reviewed like every 1 to 4 years, depending on the product that it was, or more frequently if there was like an issue raised. So a lot of it was just like when I would review that methodology, a lot of it was like very similar to Fed Team, where I would do research on that specific product, how that product behaved in like the global financial crisis. Like I'll give you an example, like auto commitments, like auto leases. Like when I worked on that, I looked at like what was like the trends for like auto leases, like what was the demand for auto leases during like COVID, and like what happened during like the global financial crisis. And it was just like doing a lot of research of like were people like less likely to get a lease at that time because of the economic uncertainty. And then like based on like the observations and things that I found, then I would update that methodology to be like, all right, based on like what we saw during this time, this is what we should probably incorporate into our thinking for this. So that was like what a lot of our projects were those, but there's lots of other like items that we would work on as well. Like I can't really get too into detail of it, of course, but it was lots of different things that kept it interesting.
Is there any resume tips you want to give to students who want to break into big companies like this, like Citibank and JP Morgan?
Yeah, go to Pace Career Services. Talk to Salvador
they're so
Tafano
good.
in Career Services. King. He's amazing.
Who?
Sal Tafano. Okay. He's actually technically at the Pleasantville office, but he was amazing. So when I was preparing for the JP Morgan interviews, I had reached out to Pace Career Services, and I was like, I need help. I need interview prep. I have not interviewed in like 2.5 years.
They're great.
Yeah, they are. I mean, like even when I was in college and I was like super like imposter syndrome, I don't think I'm going to be good enough for any company, I still went to all the classes. I think there was like 3 classes or something that you were required to take before you could get access to Handshake. And I wouldn't recommend Handshake necessarily because I think it's very internship focused. I mean, maybe it's like your first role, but yeah, they have like amazing resume workshop classes, like honestly just following what they have. They also have this like PDF where it's like Pace resumes. Like if you just like Google Pace resume PDF, they have like this whole like list of like a PDF of like examples of good resumes, good cover letters. And honestly, that's really helped me a lot. Just keeping it clean, keeping it to the point. There's like, you don't want it to be too colorful or have I mean, it shouldn't be colorful at all, honestly. It shouldn't have too much white space or too compact. It's like a balancing act. But also ChatGPT has been my best friend. So like anytime you want to apply for a job, you should have the job description of your current job, your resume, and then the job description of the next job you want to apply for, and ChatGPT. Because what you'll do is you'll say, hey, ChatGPT, look at my current job description, and then this is the job that I'm applying for. Can you please generate some bullets of transferable skills and things that I do to make myself qualified for this other job? Not that you're going to lie, of course, but like they will, like unfortunately at big companies, they do use applicant tracking systems like AI. So you're not going to have like a person looking and like taking a lot of time to like look at everybody's resume. They have like thousands and thousands of them. I mean, probably more than that. So applicant tracking system is going to be your first filtering. So you might as well get ChatGPT to help you out. So that's what I did for like applying for my role at Citi. It was like, here's my current job description. This is the role that I want to apply for. Like, help me, you know? And then of course you're going to have to modify it because AI is not perfect. It's going to make some stuff sound a little weird and robotic, but then you add your own personal touch to it, clean it up, and like make sure, did I actually do this, you know? And I applied for my role at Citi on a Sunday night. Monday, the next day, I got an interview, like a reach out for an interview. So and that was just like the applicant tracking system screening. It's like, we would like to move forward. So like, and every job that I've applied for, I have gotten some kind of positive, we would like to move to the next level. So like, applicant tracking system and
I think,
ChatGPT your
yeah,
best friend.
matching your resume for the job description is a big thing because ATS will always look for keywords, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like when you're applying for jobs, like, I mean, something that like women do especially is like they'll look at all of the bullet points of requirements and be like, oh my God, I don't meet all of those requirements. But that is such nonsense. Like men will look at it and they'll see like one thing they're qualified for and be like, yep, I'm going to apply. So like if you're a woman and you're watching this, apply for it. Because like I think of job descriptions for job listings as wish lists. Like you're never going to find like the overall perfect candidate.
Yeah.
And if you do hit all of those bullets, you're overqualified. So you don't want to be applying for that job. You want to be applying for something else. So like you can look at these bullet points and instead of saying, oh my God, I don't know that, you could be like, oh my God, I get to learn that if I work there. So apply anyway. And you never know. You might be the most qualified candidate that applied for that job. So just put yourself out there.
If you want to rank in terms of importance between your GPA, resume, and networking, how do you do it?
Network, 1.
1.
Resume, 2. And
And
GPA,
the-
3. I had a great GPA, but you know what that got me?
What?
When I was at the Fed, I had a guy that was helping me like update my resume because I was an intern at the time, and at the end of the internship program, you would apply for roles again at the Fed to come back. And he looked at my GPA and he's like, "Oh, that's a nice GPA. That's it."
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, like obviously, like pass your classes, you know, like do well. I mean, like I was summa cum laude, but like that's not required though, because like honestly, it's just bragging rights, but it's not a requirement. I mean, I think there are like minimum requirements for some roles, like it will say that for entry level, but like honestly, like even when I was in my master's program at that point, like you think about school, like when I was in the master's program at Pace, you think about it differently. It's like, I'm not going to try to get the most perfect grade. I'm just going to try to learn as much as I can from this while still balancing my life. So just try to like pass, of course. Use it as an opportunity to learn, like take it seriously, but like I wouldn't be so hard on yourself if you get like a B- instead of an A+, because like in the grand scheme of life, you'll be okay. Because honestly, your network is like, and your work ethic is what's gonna like help you in the long run.
Carly, you're so fun.
Thanks.
Yeah. And what makes you wake up every day in the morning?
My dogs, because I have to take them out to pee.
Yeah. And in terms of like, where do you derive happiness from right now in the position you are?
So right now I'm in between jobs. So I call this my, I quit 2
Little
weeks ago.
vacation.
It's my micro retirement. That was not an original thought. I took that from TikTok. But yeah, so I mean, like, I think right now the things that bring me joy is just like, there's like this thing that's like going viral on social media right now of like exercising your free will. And right, it sounds weird, but like obviously don't do anything like wrong, you know, but like I just realized like, holy crap, I live right by New York City. I have one life to live. I can try whatever I want today just because I'm like out here. Obviously nothing illegal, but you know, like I do like, I've been trying different things that I've been putting off for a really long time. Like I tried Pilates the other day. I was like, this is so fun. And I got my colors analyzed last week, where you like go and someone like drapes different colored fabrics on you to tell you if you're a spring, summer, fall, or winter. So cool. Like I love trying new things. And like, I feel like in my last role at JP Morgan, I was so focused on like the role and doing a good job at the role that I like neglected like feeding my soul. And like, I think going into this next job, I still want to do a good job, but I also want to be able to like balance by doing things that give me joy, like trying something new. Like trying new things is what excites me. And so I think just like trying to find that balance in the next role is like something interesting that I'm going to try to work on in this third chapter.
Yeah, wow. And how do you think that pace in this overall journey helped you consciously or unconsciously?
Oh, it helped me. I mean, gosh. I mean, I would not be where I am today if it weren't for Professor Weinstock telling me to become an economics major, which led to like me meeting all of those econ students.
Yeah, just imagine your life would be so different. Acting.
If I went to any other school, I know for sure I would not have been an economics major, because it was really because of Professor Weinstock, and then like meeting all of the students and realizing like, oh my gosh, there's so many other like women. I mean, that was like the big thing. It was like I kept thinking of economics as like I only see boys studying economics, but then I saw all these like smart like women that were also in it that were like, oh yeah, this is super approachable, you can totally do it. And like it really did change my mindset, because like I used to feel really insecure when I would like see somebody that was like very smart or like very senior or very powerful. But like working at, like, I mean, going to PACE, the really, like, I taught me, like, the only difference between me and that person that I'm aspiring to be like is time and effort and dedication. That's it. Everything is achievable if you put in the time.
And I always want to wrap up my show with this question. It's a loaded one. Is there anything you regret that you have missed out in PACE or in life in general?
I wish I would have studied abroad, because I was so focused on, I mean, like, I don't, like, you can't regret your life, because, like, everything leads to, like,
Destiny.
everything, yeah, of where you are today. So, like, I'm very happy with my college experience, but I think I was also, like, too hard on myself of, like, wanting to make sure that I got a job after I graduated, which, valid, but, like, I don't think I could have enjoyed myself a little bit more. Like, I could have, like, tried to take a semester abroad, because it's so difficult to, like, do that after you graduate. Like, you can never really do that again. Like, and as you, like, get married and, like, settle down in your life later on, like, it's like you realize, like, you're never going to be as free as you are right now in college. So if you have the opportunity and you're able to go and, like, study abroad, that would be amazing. Because, like, one thing that fuels my fire is travel. And so, like, I wish I would have been able to, like, study abroad and, like, travel to different countries every weekend. But, you know, maybe someday. But, yeah, that's my only regret. But everything else, like, was so worth it.
Cool. Thank you so much. Probably anybody who's watching this, any economic students, you'll learn a lot. And thank you, Carly, for doing this.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.